We're going to show you how to install your 4th and 5th axis. It's going to be installed to the T-slot plates using the T-nuts. First thing you want to do is...
What tools do we need?
You need a 4mm hex driver, and then later you'll need a number 2 Phillips driver.
Excellent.
So you're going to start by putting the nuts into the T-slot and just slide this down until your first holes align with the... Do you want to see it from the top? Or can you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. And get your screws started. Now don't tighten these screws yet because you're going to adjust the position of the whole assembly.
Now I see these, all 4 screws aren't the same. What's up with that?
Well, just be patient. Alright, so once you get the first 2 screws installed, you can slide the whole assembly until you line up with the hole on the other nut. Depending on your application, you may be fine with just 3 screws holding this down. If you want to go ahead and put in the 4th one, you'll need to use a flathead flush mount screw because otherwise it would interfere with your home sensor flag, which is this little piece of aluminum that sticks up here.
Oh.
So you want to make sure not to bump that on anything. And you'll see why this is important in a minute. Alright, so now using that screw there allows this to rotate completely without impacting the screw head, and that triggers your home sensor right
Gotcha.
there. Alright, so before we tighten everything down, this is still loose. We're going to bring our assembly up in front of the rail on the x-axis just to make sure that we are aligned to the gantry. And I'm just moving this manually because I have the emergency stop turned off, but you could do this under power if you wanted to. So once I get up here, very carefully get that closer. Now I'm going to put it back under power so everything doesn't move. Just going to gently slide it up until both sides of the assembly make contact with the rail. Alright, and now so that's locked down. And tighten the rest of the screws. Alright, so now this is installed parallel to your gantry. Next thing we're going to do is connect the cables. Cables are labeled A and B for the 2 axes. And you'll see that on the chassis it's also labeled A and B. Just make sure the connector is in the right position. Alright, then we're going to attach these strain reliefs for these cables. If it's easier for you, you can lower the bed back down to do this. Otherwise, you can just reach under. So now that all this is together, we can repower the motors. First thing I'm going to do is
Job killed.
I don't know why that was. The software was running.
No M30 at the end of it.
Now there is, but it was. I think we actually removed it. Can you cut out that little part?
Maybe.
All right. So next thing we're going to do, before we test the motion, you want to lower your Z-axis to make sure you're not going to have an impact between your gantry and the 4th and 5th axis assembly. I'm just going to jog this forward. And depending on your application, at this point you will be setting your actual Z0 height. Of course, this is based on the print head that you're using and the part that will be held in the chuck. And that'll be set like you do for any print operation, just using the Z calibrate maneuver. So we'll just assume that this is our 0 position for now. And we'll just run a little sample code, and you can see how it functions.